Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Max from the Innisfil Idea Lab and Library. In today's coding tutorial, we are going to extend on our previous Dodge the Aliens game and make it a little more exciting. As you can see, I've already changed the name of the game to Dodge the Ducks because I didn't bother last time to draw my own alien image. I just used the built-in image of a duck from the gallery. So now it's a little more accurate. This is a Dodge the Ducks game. If you want to watch the last video to see how we made this, please do. Or feel free to try to jump in right now and see what you can make. If you would like to jump ahead and take a look at the finished game, you can head to the webpage github.com/mlupo/idealab_codejams to find the finished MakeCode Arcade game files. The game files are saved as PNG images, so you can click on one here, right-click and save that image. Give it a good descriptive name. And then, in the Finder, find that image, go to the MakeCode Arcade website, and you can just click and drag that image that you downloaded into the web page, and it'll load all the game code. In MakeCode Arcade, all the game data is interestingly stored inside a PNG image. In any case, here we are in our game from last week. As a recap, our game on start sets a background color to blue, creates a variable called mySprite, which is our player, and then we move that mySprite with our buttons. The game updates once every second to create a projectile of the kind projectile in the shape of a duck, and it flies at us at a speed in pixels per second, anything randomly from 40 to 100, coming down from the top of the screen. Its position, left to right, is determined here. We set our projectile to have an X position, anywhere from 10 to 150. So 10 would be somewhere here on the screen, 150 is here. So every second, a duck will fly down from one of these positions along the screen at a speed determined by this little function here. When our kind of player overlaps another sprite of kind projectile, the game is over. We lose immediately. And you can see here I've already lost by not playing. And so we can make our game perhaps a little more exciting by changing that first. So instead of an immediate game over, I'm going to click that block and drag it into the trash here. In the info category, we can just change our life by -1. In order for that to work well, of course, we should probably start with a number of lives. So under the info category, let's set our lives to start off with 3. Of course, they can be any number. 6, sure. When we play our game now, things still don't go quite as planned. If I hit a duck, the overlaps happen so fast that I already lose all my lives before I have a chance to move away. This is because when my player overlaps the projectile, that overlap keeps on happening. Nothing changes once we've overlapped other than I'm losing lives. In order to make the game operate in more the way we expect, we need to do something to our sprite. So under the sprites drawer, we're going to look for our overlap category. The effects category. So effects under the sprites drawer. We're going to destroy a particular sprite. We don't want to destroy mySprite, that's the lead character in the game, that's not good. Instead, we're going to destroy the projectile that's flying towards us. This here is referring to the variable name, but we need to go one further. We don't want this to apply to only one of those objects. We want it to apply to every single other sprite of the kind projectile. So we remove that initial bubble there, and we just slid this bubble over top of it. So this will apply now to every sprite that has that same kind. So now things are a little more reasonable. I'm still losing lives, of course, which is as intended, but we only lose 1 every time we hit a duck. For the sake of drama, let's make that duck destroy itself with fire. That makes perfect sense, of course. So there, the duck kind of bursts into little pixelated flames. That's fine. In order to give us a way to fight back, we're going to make our character shoot projectiles using more of the built-in tools in MakeCode Arcade. In order to do that easily, we're going to make some changes with our duck here. Number one, we should probably give it a more convincing name. It's not just any projectile, it's really our bad enemy duck. So I'm going to rename that variable by clicking the little drop down. Let's call that bad duck. And so by changing the name here, it changed all of their instances of the name, which is handy. And we want to make our player shoot projectiles. And so the fact that this automatically is generated as a type of projectile kind of works against us all of a sudden. We're going to change the kind of our duck back in the sprites drawer. And we're going to load up our set my sprite kind to player. So of course, again, my sprite's the lead character. We want to change our bad duck to the kind of enemy. So now this won't work. This only works with the projectile kind. So we just change that as well to enemy. And now we're back in business. Now everything is basically the way it was before. Just some changes in names. So let's make it possible for our player to fight back. Under the controller drawer, drag out on A button pressed. Every time we press the A button, which humorously, hilariously, on the keyboard is the letter Z. So if you're playing at home, when you want to press the A button in the game, you press the Z key. You can also click on the simulator here. In any case, when we press that A button, we want some more sprites to appear. And in particular, we want a projectile to come from my sprite. So when you press the A button, we want a projectile of a certain image to emanate from my sprite moving at a certain velocity. So first things first, we can click that gray box. And again, I really do encourage you to draw out some sort of awesome like projectile, laser beam, or something like that. I'm just going to choose from the gallery a donut. We all know ducks hate donuts. That's just a fact. So remembering from our last session, velocity is speed and direction. 50 and 100 will move in diagonal down. The origin is 0, 0. Any positive number here in the X bubble will move us towards the right side of the screen. Any positive number here for Y will move us down the screen. And so that's how we get a little diagonal donut. For our character, I'm going to make kind of just a straight right and left stream of donuts. So we want to move 100 pixels per second to the right. And I'm also going to duplicate this and then put a negative number here. The negative number, which will get us closer to 0 by minusing its velocity, will make a donut go to the left. So now we have a donut shooting left, a donut shooting right, but nothing yet happens because there's no overlaps coded into the game. So back to our sprite drawer, back to our overlap category there, on sprite of kind projectile, because now this is the only projectile in the game. Overlaps other sprite of kind, well, our ducks are enemies, so kind enemy. What do we want to happen? Pretty typical stuff. We can even just copy this one here. We want to duplicate that guy there. Destroy that other sprite with fire. So every time my donut hits a duck, we're removing enemies from the screen, which is great. Sorry, ducks. To add some more incentive to the game, to incentivize the player to actually try to hit the ducks, to give them a reason to hit the ducks, we can increase our score as we go. And so every time that a donut hits a duck, under the info category, we can change our score by 1. It's a little more exciting to change it by 10. So now I fly around trying to hit those ducks, and every time I do, my score goes up a bit. So now I have a reason to try to play the game in that way. Because every time, of course, you move around the screen, you're increasing your danger. You might hit a duck. So the score gives the player a reason to try to do that. Try to get a high score. This here, at this point, we have a pretty usable game. There's enough drama and kind of enough going on. A lot of things you can change to make it easier or harder, like less lives or more ducks. If you want to add some more flair, you can take a look for some blocks which just change sort of the visual character of the game a little bit more. For example, under the scene category, you can draw a background image, or we can look for the camera category here, and we can shake the camera every time you're hit by a duck, which is usually a fun little effect. So every time I'm hit by a duck, the camera does a nice little shake. Not too bad. Oh, great, new high score, perfect. And that's really all I wanted to share with you today, a way to make the game a little more exciting. If you are following along, I hope you try to find some other ways to add some more drama to your game or other fun features. If you do, please share it with us at the Innisfil Idea Lab and Library. Thanks again for joining us, and I hope to see you soon.